The Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria, I do you in the bottom while you're drinking sangria. Nachos and lemon heads in my dad's boat. You won't go down cause... Hey, welcome to Happiness Bar, where my goal is to share cocktails, content, and happiness. And today, you heard it, we're making a fall sangria. Now, I know what you're thinking. Some basic bullshit, sangria, whatever. It's not. We're doing something cool. I really wanted to kind of experiment and mess around with sangria and maybe throw in some things that haven't been implemented into a sangria and just see what we come up with. Something that's really warm and inviting, but also has some other notes, some other elements. So, the Happiness Bar Fall Sangria. It's made with a dry Lambrusco. Now, if you don't know what Lambrusco is, it is a dry red sparkling wine. They have sweet Lambruscos as well. Always go with the dry Lambrusco. It is fantastic, okay? It is from Emilia-Romagna in Italy. It's the only place you should get Lambrusco from. If it says anything else, it ain't Lambrusco. So don't be fooled. We got cognac in this fall sangria. We have an espresso infused sweet vermouth. We've got red pear juice. We're gonna juice fresh here. We're also gonna infuse this cocktail, this sangria, with figs, with cinnamon, with clove. We're gonna throw a couple extra red pears in there. It's gonna be awesome. You're gonna get notes of sweet and bitter and acid. It's gonna punch you in the mouth. I was really happy with how this came out. I hope you guys enjoy this episode. So, just to run this off, this is the first cocktail we're doing as a batch, more than an individual drink. So our builds are a little bigger. This is meant to make and store for, you know, a week or so, you know, but I mean, you could drink it all in one night if you want, depending on how many people you got with you, even if it's you alone. Hey, you know, just be safe, don't drive or nothing, you know, stay home and drink your sangria and sadness all alone. It's okay, do it, it's fun. So, our build for our Happiness Bar Fall Sangria is 750 milliliters of a dry Lambrusco, half cup of cognac, a quarter cup of espresso infused sweet vermouth, 1 cup of red pear juice. Then we are going to infuse that with 30 figs sliced, a half of a red pear sliced, 3 cinnamon sticks, and 1 tablespoon of whole cloves. Now, there's a little bit of prep work involved in this, so let's jump in. The tools you're gonna need for the prep today. You're gonna need a cutting board. You're gonna need a knife. You're gonna need a little bialotti press. You're gonna need a measuring cup. You're gonna need a juicer. And you're gonna need some containers to store in. All right, so first thing we're gonna do for our prep work today is we're gonna make our red pear juice. Now, I already made a batch of this a few days ago, so it's ready to taste today. So I'll be making a half batch here, but I'll be giving you the full batch recipe. So I'm gonna grab my red pears, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut these first. Make sure you wash your pears good, guys. I already washed these. Gonna just cut around the core of our red pears. Pretty simple, pretty easy. We just need small enough pieces that'll go into our juicer. I'm gonna slice these up a little bit long ways so I know they fit into my juicer. All right, we got our pears. Tasty. I'm not a big fan of eating pears, guys. They always seem real grainy and mealy to me. Red pears, though, are my favorite. In the context of cocktails, they have some great flavor. I don't like green pears, though. Fucking hate those. Not bad. Okay. Let's get these out of here. All right, guys. So I got my juicer set up. I'm gonna crank this bad boy on, and we're just gonna start dropping our pears in here. Again, we're looking for a cup of pear juice, guys. All right, let's turn that off. I'm gonna let that drip out for a second. All right, so we'll set our pear juice to the side for now. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna cut and slice up all of our figs. So we need to slice 30 figs. Container here to set aside, and what we're looking for is we just want a few, you know, we just want to slice them up fairly thin. Don't have to be too thin, but you want them thin enough. Again, we're always looking for surface contact when we're infusing. Right, throw them right into your container here. These figs, guys, as they're infusing, they're really gonna bring a sweetness into the cocktail. I had the pleasure when I was making this to try this cocktail when it was first made, a day after I made it, 2 days after I made it, 3 days after I made it, and got to see where the flavor really, really hit. And I'd have to say, it's good at every moment, honestly. At day 3, it is fantastic. The way those flavors have really melded into the cocktail are just crazy. It is a really cool sangria. And you may be thinking like, hey, he's using a sparkling wine and then letting it infuse and sit. Doesn't it lose its effervescence? And you know, it kind of does as you go, but as the cocktail grows, it changes and it may lose its effervescence, but you still keep the flavor of the Lambrusco, and it's still awesome. It's so great. You get those in Lambrusco notes, those kind of like drier, acidic notes in that Lambrusco, and still get those like kind of brighter red fruits. It's really cool. So I don't even mind that like you lose a little bit of the effervescence in the cocktail. We've got our figs sliced. Now, the next thing we are gonna do is pretty cool. We're gonna infuse espresso into our sweet vermouth. I saw online someone do this and I thought, yo, that's awesome. What a creative way to infuse espresso into sweet vermouth. In the past, I've done it by just kind of doing a cold brew essentially. This is cool though. You just use the Bialotti press and brew it just like you would coffee, except with sweet vermouth. We are gonna grab our measuring cup, we're gonna grab our sweet vermouth, and we're gonna measure out 1/4 cup of sweet vermouth. All right, we got a 1/4 cup of sweet vermouth. We're gonna pour it in to our bottom of our Bialotti press. Gonna put our piece back in, just like we're making coffee. We're gonna go with a couple spoonfuls of espresso here just to fill the bottom of the Bialotti press. It's about like 2.5 heaping spoonfuls here. Now, if you don't have a Bialotti press at home, you could do this as well by doing a kind of a cold brew, just basically soaking the espresso grinds in the sweet vermouth overnight, 24 hours. I don't know if you'll get as rich of a sweet vermouth. I'm not certain because I didn't do it that way for this recipe. I did it with the Bialotti press, but try it. I'm sure you'll still get those espresso notes and I'm sure it'll still be great. We have our sweet vermouth in the bottom here. We have our espresso. Now we are gonna place our Bialotti press on our burner, a medium-high heat, and we're just gonna let that brew. Now you wanna be careful. You don't wanna brew it and like make it come flying through and boiling and all that. You want to just brew, and as soon as it's brewed, stop, because you don't want to cook it too much, otherwise you'll cook the alcohol out of the sweet vermouth. It's okay if you do a little bit, but you don't want to lose it all. So we're just gonna let that go. All right guys, our espresso sweet vermouth is done. We've got our pear juice done. We've got our figs cut. One last thing, we're gonna slice up our pears to infuse into the drink as well. Grab our cutting board back, grab another red pear. Remember, we need about half a red pear. So I'm gonna slice half the red pear in little, I don't know, 1/2 inch slices on these. I'm gonna go a little thicker, because they are really porous. All right, we got that ready for infusion. Now the rest of the red pear I'm also gonna slice up as well. And we're gonna use those for more of a garnish. All right, so I'm gonna grab the container that I had already put my figs in, and I'm just gonna break them apart and throw all my sliced red pears in there as well. Okay, so we have our figs, we have our pears in there. Let's grab our cinnamon sticks. I mean, basically this whole cocktail is kind of prep in a sense, right? So you need 3 cinnamon sticks. So we throw our cinnamon sticks in. Could break them up a little, just again to get more surface contact on the booze. And the next step for our infusion is we're gonna grab our cloves. We're gonna go about a tablespoon of cloves. Whole cloves. All right, so we have everything we need to infuse in there. Essentially now, this is our making of our cocktail. We're not gonna shake this cocktail, we're not gonna stir this cocktail, we're just gonna build this cocktail. So, we already measured out our 1/4 cup of espresso sweet vermouth. Pour that into your container for infusion. We have our pear juice. We're gonna measure out that cup of pear juice. Right, cup of pear juice into the infusion. We need our 1/2 cup of cognac into our infusion. We need 750 milliliters of our dry Lambrusco. So the bottle's a $7.50. You can just dump the bottle right in. And remember, I already made a half batch, so your batch is not gonna fit into a pint container. You might need 2 pint containers if you want to do these, or just grab a bigger pitcher and infuse in that. That's everything. We got our Lambrusco, we got our Cognac, we got our Espresso infused Sweet Vermouth, we have our red pear juice, we have our pears, our figs, our cinnamon, our cloves. Let's grab a spoon. We're just gonna mix that in really good. You can see the effervescence on the Lambrusco. Just give that a good mix. Make sure everything is incorporated. Grab a lid, grab some blue tape, and label and date as always. And you're gonna store your Happiness Bar Fall Sangria in the fridge. I'd say you're probably good for up to like 5 days, guys, a week maybe pushing it, mostly just because of the wine will lose its quality when you start pushing that far. Again, I don't mind some of the effervescence falling off and everything infuses, gets real nice. I think 3 days is your optimal time. So if this batch is too big for you, make a batch a little smaller. So cut it in half and just, you know, make what you're gonna enjoy. Don't waste it. It's too good to waste. So this is my batch I just made today. And here is my batch that's been infusing past 3 days. I'm gonna open her up. Oh man, she smells awesome. You get that espresso, that just smells so good, man. So what you can do, you could just strain your whole batch. For me, I'm not gonna strain the whole thing because I want to let it continue to infuse if I'm not gonna drink it all. So when making this cocktail, I mean, we're essentially done. All we gotta do is pour it in the glass and garnish it. So we're gonna grab our glassware and we're gonna ice our glassware. Fill that bad boy up with some ice. Perfect. Now, as I said, I'm not gonna strain my whole batch, but I will grab my basket strainer so that way I strain out some of like the fig seeds and things like that. So we'll just pour. Look at the dark color on that, man. That is a pretty sangria. You ain't never seen sangria that color before, man. Next we're gonna garnish. Let's grab a couple slices of our red pears here. Right, I'm gonna throw those bad boys in there, just like that. And honestly, I'm also gonna garnish it with a little orange twist, just to give it a little kind of citrus note on the nose. So grab the twist, spritz it over the glass, rub the outside of the glass. Gonna roll that bad boy up. Place that down in there. We're also gonna garnish with 1 cinnamon clove. Grab a cinnamon clove and let's tuck that down in there as well. Oh man, look at this cocktail. If that's not fall, I don't know what is, man. Figs, sparkling red wine, espresso infused sweet vermouth, cognac, pears, cloves, cinnamon, so many great things. I'm excited. Let's taste. You get that cinnamon and the orange on the nose immediately from the garnish. Man, that's a complex, layered sangria. This isn't your bullshit, I don't know, California Pizza Kitchen sangria, wherever the fuck you go to get sangria. Definitely complex. You get a nice, like, acidic, bright, from the Lambrusco. That dry Lambrusco is awesome in this. That espresso really comes through with that sweet vermouth. It's really cool. It gives it a real kind of like bitter note to balance out the sweetness of the sweet vermouth and the sweetness of the figs that got infused in here. You get that earthiness from the figs. The cinnamon and the clove give you those baking spice notes you really want, and that pear juice kind of just like cuts through with that like kind of bright, just fruity, juicy flavor of red pears. A little orange zest on the nose, man, is really cool too. I didn't do that when I was taste testing this originally, but man, I'm really happy with how this came out. It's a cool sangria, guys. I hope you all enjoy this. Man, there it is, guys. The Happiness Bar Fall Sangria. I hope you guys enjoy. Let me know in the comments. And hey guys, become a regular somewhere. Become a regular at your local watering hole. It's the best way to support local business. Become a regular here at Happiness Bar by liking, commenting, subscribing. Hit that bell if you want notifications. We got cocktail videos coming out every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern to get you ready for the weekend. Stay happy, everyone. Fucking love sangria now. I used to hate it. Now I don't.